So for those just tuning in, final score, DeathWatch, 94, Grey Knights, 41.
The good news is your Grey Knights will never have to lose to my DeathWatch again. That's the bright
Good night,
side.
everyone. I'm going home.
Eh.
So, let's talk about this. First things first. Oh, man. First, I'm going to complain about your dice, because you love to complain about my dice.
Sure.
So this is my chance to complain about your dice.
Go ahead.
Everything that I had that was just like, okay, cool. Here, I'm going to do this drop pod has 4 wounds left. I re-roll damage. Okay, here's a hit from a hammer. Oh, I'm AP3. Just don't roll a 6. Rolls a 6. Every time he needed that 6 for a save, rolls a 6. So much stuff. So much just damage that I just was like, okay, I did this right. That I needed to go through and random 6s. Or like you said, oh, look, I got a little shield. Oh, look, let me take this little shield. I'm just going to block all that.
I did make 5 4-up invulns on a Stardy Shield one round. Yeah, I'll definitely take that.
You take that? Yeah.
You're the one who knew your dice were so bad, and at the end there, you're still splitting your attacks with your Nemesis Dread Knight.
Because I was at the point that I couldn't do anything at all.
You're splitting it between 3 units.
I want to hear, yeah, because at the point at the end of the game, I couldn't even do anything.
Never split fire, guys.
No, that was a split.
Because your dice might be below average.
My dice weren't. Yours were way above average. Like, man,
mine were fine.
I'm gonna water test those things. Watch, I'm gonna see those things later on when I go upstairs. They're gonna find them in the bottom of my toilet. Just wait and see. Just wait and see. That's where they're gonna be.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely spiked some saves, but the dev wounds didn't even go that hot into you. I mean, they were pretty average. I think they were a little bit below average. I just didn't get a whole lot of 6s when I went after your. I mean, I eventually killed the squad because I had redundancies with units that could charge them, but. Yeah, the dev wounds wasn't super impressive, but it did the work. I mean, obviously, I can't complain about the outcome.
No, I didn't anticipate that you were actually going to go for the Tome of Ectoclades on turn 1. I figured you would have waited.
No one expects the Inquisition.
But you're not Inquisition yet. Not yet.
I got those eyes all over my army.
You're still not Inquisition yet, but you will be here soon. Agents of the Imperium coming soon. I didn't expect that you were going to go after the Tome of Ectoclades and play into that turn so early. I thought that I would get 1 turn out of it. And with what you had on the table, I thought you were going to have to really make decisions with your Centurions on what you were going to do with them. So I thought I could play into the Terminators real early on that hit. Yeah, probably should have not done that. I probably should have... I probably should have kept back and cut the game in half and just taken one side of the field, brought the Terminators in, and then if your Centurions wanted to move out to shoot them, I could have missed the Deimos away at that point and started prepping into the rapid ingress and stuff like that. But the position I had them in just made it easy for you to drop in and put that firepower into them. And honestly, once I lost the Terminators, it was all downhill from there. That was a huge, huge anchor to my army and how I play, that losing them on turn 1 was it. Yeah. So that was a miss.
I mean, with a character, they're what, like 550, 600 points? 500
points, yeah, somewhere around there. Yeah. It's 420 for the squad alone. 550 actually.
Yeah.
And then the Grandmaster, I didn't push him. And I should have pushed him into center and brought the extra because of how much I was threatening. I should have done that. But I think initially I got a little too brave. with the Terminators. And was trying to bait out the Mista Deimos. That was really what I wanted, is I wanted to bait out something to do Mista Deimos. So I figured that was a good pocket for it. And I really just did not anticipate the drop pod turn 1, Tome of Ectoclades. And it was just like when you start putting the pods on the table, I'm like, I'm in danger. And that was one thing that was a complete misplay on my fact. I wasn't even taking into consideration the fact that the pods could drop on 1, that you could Tome of Ectoclades into 1. I just got, one of those times, happens to all of us. You're looking at a table. I know what your army does. I know the fact that you could do it. But I just looked at the table. I looked at what was there. I was like, okay, how do I trigger the Tome? How do I trigger Mista Deimos with what's here? The jump infantry. I'm like, okay, well, if you don't move into this, if you don't do this, if you don't do that, then you're not able to do these things. And the Terminators are going to stand there and start going to war. But I forgot about that fact of, oh, yeah, that's right. You could tell them I'm turn 1 and drop in the pots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely, going second gave me the advantage there because I was able to move those dev cents around. But I just knew you have 8 units in your army. And so I knew if I picked up 2 of them, that's just going to limit what you can do in terms of secondaries and that sort of thing. You can't sacrifice units to not be putting out damage. So I knew that killing any 2 units from your army would do good. Just because you can deep strike 3 inches away from me doesn't mean you should. So,
yeah, this was one of those times I probably shouldn't have. I probably honestly should have put them on an angle where I could just barely hit the Centurions and just poured all the fire into them. And granted, I wouldn't have done much damage, but I mean, with the entire squad shooting at them, I might have been able to pick up a cent. You just get 4 wounds through and kill 1. So, and then that's 1 dead, 1 less. And then you start to making the decisions. Do you want to do this now? Do you want to do that? And start to see where things can pick up and where things can happen. So that probably would have been the better play, was to play even more defensive on that. I was really trying to trigger that Mr. Deimos thing. I got tunnel vision on it, and I really just haven't played Grey Knights for a while, and I just really tunneled in onto that one strategy. Now,
and I didn't let you use it.
No, nope, no
yeah.
0 Mr. Deimos.
Yeah, I mean, I know how to play against your Grey Knights. Yeah, as long as I remember my stuff. Disembarking from a vehicle. The disembark move itself does not trigger any abilities or stratagems. So I was able to disembark my my DeathWatch veterans with the Watchmasters right close to your Terminators, and you wouldn't be able to miss the Deimos away. Then I didn't move anything else there. I moved the Rhino away, but it's more than 9 inches when I finished. So I was able to pour a bunch of fire into him, shoot him, and then charge him to finish him off.
I also wasn't too happy with the double libbies. I don't know.
Well, I think we forgot that they can drop in and do their psychic attack and still do an action. Is there?
Oh, I remembered. I just couldn't get them into a place to do that.
Yeah, I don't know if there was
damage. I was trying to push you. I was trying to push you away and get you pushed back to try to do damage, and then you just decide to say no and roll 6s for.
Yeah, well, I picked up the one on Overwatch too.
4 turns straight, 7 turns straight.
But I picked up the one on Overwatch, so he didn't get to do much.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, is that I lost. The units that I'm losing in the Overwatch and not being able to move and not being able to do it because of like a Dread Knight on 1 wounds. It was really, really, really hurting in that aspect. It's just like I can't position, can't get around it. Because the Centurions and the Eradicators cannot be left to go. Like, they have to go away. But the Centurions, like anything that lands on an objective and they Overwatch it, now you're getting the full rerolls into, and in the sustain turn, that's even more brutal. So that was very, very rough. Hindsight of it, seeing that and seeing what that's with everything, and again, a little bit of rust on the Grey Knights. Yeah, I probably should have caged up a bit and waited till turn 2 when I could really spring the trap and bring a lot more to bear. Being down a Dread Knight, I do feel it. I do really feel that a lot more, but it doesn't make me think, oh, okay, I got to drop this and get another Dread Knight in there. I think that like the Purifier play was probably not the right play, but after what happened with the Terminators, I was kind of stuck. Like I was really stuck at that point in that positioning that there was not enough I could do. So that's when I was like, all right, well, this is what we're doing. We're just going to throw the Purifiers in here and see what we can make happen and see how we can try and slow this stuff down. And really wasn't able to because just sheer volume of shots at that point. So how are you feeling with your list? Let's talk about that. How are you feeling with that?
I'm getting all excited. I don't want to get my hopes up too much and get cocky, but the list has performed pretty well so far. And playing against you and Zach, you guys are both really good players, so it's been doing pretty well. So we'll see.
That's the whole point of all this, was getting you prepped, getting you ready.
Yeah.
This is what you do for your friends. You go in there and you play the armies they want to play against, get them prepped. And I mean, you've had some time. You've played against Grey Knights. You know all my tricks. So you played against Grey Knights, and now it's just a matter of seeing if you have the tools in there to implement to slow that down.
Yeah. Yeah, so I feel good into a lot of my matchups, but we'll see. Stuff happens. Weird stuff happens. I might get paired into Gene Stealer cults and not know what they do, or who knows. But I feel like this my list hits really hard, but has just enough jump intercessors to go out there and do actions and trade well too. So feel like we're ready.
And then silly vehicles that your opponent has to go, well, I can destroy that, but what about this? What about that? And the more time your opponent spends dealing with silly vehicles, then your units get another turn to do damage, another turn to shoot. And especially things like the Eradicators. Like the Eradicators and the Centurions are lethal to like mid-range vehicles down to that 3. even not so much 2, but then you have things like the Eradicators that then come in there and can split fire and help finish off a vehicle while putting damage on another. And the Eradicators are another one that, I mean, I would say they're another unit that they're still damaging all the way down to 3. So both units can draw up to half strength and still take out medium range vehicles and do heavy damage versus tougher things.
Yeah.
You know, might need to get a little bit lucky in there, but I mean, heck, 3 of them could take out a Land Raider by themselves if you roll those dice hot, but you're still going to put some good numbers onto it. But yeah, you have good combat options, good speed with the extra jump infantry. That was the new addition this week. And yeah, the drop pods, the dev wounds, the tome of ectoclades. Very, very interesting ways to get around armor saves and units that decide to go, hi, I'm going to pop 35 different defensive profiles. And you go, okay, well, I don't care about the -1 to hit. I don't care about the -1 to wound. I don't care about your 4-up invulnerable save. I don't care that you have a 2-up save. This is the damage you're taking. And some of those units, some of those units, yeah, they got like 2-3 wounds. Like, I mean, the Wraiths it's still obnoxious with because then they still have the feel no pain.
Feel no pains.
But a lot of other ones, it's like at some point in it, when they don't have one of those abilities, like a feel no pain or something like that, then they just start getting chopped away, as we've seen here with like the Terminators. No feel no pain means they burn to the ground.
Yeah, yeah. And definitely the having those 2 squads of DeathWatch vets with the Watchmasters in the Rhino just means they can launch out of that Rhino. It was kind of tricky hiding it here, but a lot of times I can hide it. You know, hiding 1 Rhino is usually pretty easy. And when they come out of there, they have their 3-inch disembark, their 6-inch move, and because they're led by Watchmasters, they can advance and shoot and charge. So you know, just roll 3 on the advance. That's a 12-inch shot out of that Rhino before they're gonna get their charge rolls, get to shoot and everything. So
right on.
They definitely can reach out there and strike something that's hiding and making it's difficult for me to shot. That was the big change to my list. Is that before my list was pretty much all shooting. But now with some close combat, and those close combat units, when I pop off the tome, if there's something hidden behind a wall and I go for it, they're really going to go for it. Those Watchmasters with Lance and the DeathWatch Thunderhammers, they slap pretty hard when they're going into a tome target.
I think the point changes affected me a bit too in this because, like I said, 5 Dread Knights and then the Tech Marine and that stuff. Now we're down to 4, and the Librarians are kind of a different aspect of it that I think that it did affect my style of play a little more. I can't be as aggressive as I was with the Terminators in that sense, and I need to retool my strategy around that. I kind of, you know, again, like you said, just because you can 3-inch deep strike doesn't mean that you should. So I think in the next coming weeks, I will be throwing some more stuff on Grey Knights on the channel. I want to try some more stuff. But I think there's one ultimate question that I have to ask. And
no, what's this?
I'm going to ask it to everyone watching us or that watches this and watches our battle reports and all that stuff. And that question is, Lane said this was his last game with the DeathWatch. However,
you want me to take this belt away from you?
No, I don't want you to take it away from me. You don't have the choice to take it away from me. Our viewers have the choice of if you take it away from me or not.
Do you want to see me play the DeathWatch one more time?
Yes, that is the question. Lane beat the Canoptek or the Hypercrypt. You beat the Grey Knights. You've been on a hot streak. Should we let Lane close out the DeathWatch with a title match? You guys decide. This would be DeathWatch.
Will you guys watch it? That's the question.
That's the biggest thing too. DeathWatch versus Canoptek Court. And if we do this, if Lane wins, obviously he gets the title. And therefore he can choose to move it to any Imperium Space Marine faction that you want. So if you decide to play Iron Hands, Blood Angels, or New DeathWatch, that one, as long as it's DeathWatch, that can be the army that you defend with the title with.
All right.
But, you only get that title shot if, like you said, our lovely audience wants to see the DeathWatch one last time for the title. Do they get the send-off for the championship? That is you to decide. Let us know in the comment section. A yes for DeathWatch or a no, put them on the shelf.
GW has had enough of the DeathWatch, but have you had enough of the DeathWatch? Do you want a little bit more?
Right on.
Let us know.
All right. Well, as always, guys, thanks for watching. I'm still the champ, and we'll talk to you again soon.